A lot of big games coming up this weekend. Let's go through all of them, starting with the SEC, which has been known as the best conference in college football. Let's get it started. We have Texas A&M and number 12 Mississippi State. What do you guys think about this team? And then I want a quick analysis of number 3 Alabama against a very good number 11 Ole Miss.
Starting with A&M and Mississippi State, I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going for Mississippi State. It's at home. I believe they're ranked number 12 in the country, so they're definitely a very good team. A Heisman dark horse for you, quarterback Dak Prescott for Mississippi State. Dak Mania, that's their Heisman slogan. He's a great dual threat QB. I think he's going to give A&M problems. They were pretty lucky to beat Arkansas last week, so I got Mississippi State pulling off the upset here.
I'm going to stick with Texas A&M personally. For my other quarterback Heisman hopeful is going to be Kenny Hill right now. 17 total touchdowns, 1,800 yards already, only through 5 games. 17 total touchdowns through 5 games. You can't fake that kind of stuff. And they already beat South Carolina in South Carolina with Spurrier at coach, you know what I mean?
But I don't think South Carolina's that good, but okay.
And they're 9th in the nation for a reason. But
a little overrated.
Well, let's switch it up. What do you guys think about Bama? Roll Tide, they lost last year's bowl game. Are they really a contender this year, or is it time to give up the reins and crown to someone else?
I think for Alabama, I think they're still a contender, though they haven't looked great. In this game against Ole Miss, I think their offense is going to be too good. Usually it's Alabama, great running game and a great defense, and then quarterback, just kind of not turn the ball over. But in this case, the defense is still good, but not great. They don't have that many pro, first-round draft picks. And Blake Sims is playing really well for them at QB, and Mari Cooper looking like a Heisman hopeful himself. He's the best receiver in the country, so I think Alabama outscores Ole Miss. This could be a high-scoring one.
I'm just going to stick with Alabama just because they have Nick Saban. You look at that, he always coaches them to success. It's as simple as that. There's always in the fold. No matter who they have, they're always in the fold. So.
Yeah, Matt, you bring up a great point. Once you build a dynasty, it's really easy to keep a dynasty, but it's also hard recruiting that. But Nick Saban's done a great job.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's also another game that we have to look at, 2 more games, is number 15 LSU against number 5 Auburn. And then we have a Big 12 matchup with Oklahoma versus a very good TCU team. Guys, again, what are your predictions for these matchups this weekend?
I'm going to stick with Auburn simply because Nick Marshall coming back after last year. I know they're in the national championship. They lost the game. But you can't overlook that they won the SEC championship game. And they have a lot of returning guys back. They still have the solid defense that is the staple of the SEC. They still have that great front four. Marshall's an amazing dual threat quarterback. I'm just going to stick with them. I
agree with you there. I think Auburn's pretty good. I think LSU is a little overrated, to be honest, this year. They've been pretty inconsistent so far on offense and defense, offense especially. And Auburn, they've kind of flown under the radar, even though they're ranked number 5 in the country. But I think, Nick Marshall, like you said, they lost Trey Mason last year, but their running game's still really good. I think Auburn's just going to be too tough to handle on the ground for LSU.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting, though, once we see how this college format really changes who can be the champions this year. So, And then let's talk a little bit more about the Oklahoma and TCU. TCU been a great school, Big 12, finally there. Do they have a chance against the Sooners?
See, I have TCU at home, have an upset right here. I have them coming. I think Oklahoma's looking way overrated. I think everyone's just hopping back on that Sooner pride, that sort of thing, because they haven't had it in so many years. Everyone's just so hyped up about it, but I still think TCU is going to pull it off.
See, to me, I think Oklahoma has been the most consistent team and probably the best in the country so far. Florida State and Oregon looking a little inconsistent. Oklahoma's been the best team for me. Trevor Knight playing great at QB, defense looking good. I think they win pretty easily at TCU.
Yeah, especially when Oregon had that scare against Washington State and Jameson Winston having some off-field issues.
Definitely.
That definitely is something to consider. So, great stuff, guys. Let's hear your last 2. We got number 14, Stanford, who's always been a very good team, against number 9, Notre Dame. And then we have Michigan State again hosting Nebraska. Guys, let's take it step by step. Who do you think has it?
Okay, in the Stanford-Notre Dame game, I'm going to pick Notre Dame. It's at home for them. They may not be a top 10 team in the country, but they played great against Michigan. Not sure how good that win's going to look, but their defense is playing great. Not as good as their national title team defense from a few years ago, but really, really good. Everett Golson for them, he's coming back, from the academic scandal and all that. He's looked really good. I think he's going to be the difference maker in this case. Obviously, Stanford has a great D, but I think Golson's going to be a little too much. It'll probably be a low-scoring game.
See, I have Stanford on the road taking the win. I think Pac-12 football is going to prevail here. Stanford's D has obviously been phenomenal.
Yeah.
They've been awesome so far. The only loss is to a very, very good USC team. And as much as Golson's getting hype and praise, you just said, who do he shred? He shredded Michigan. I mean, Michigan is god-awful right now.
Looks like it, yeah.
You look ahead, I just think that they haven't played a good defense yet. I think this is going to be a wake-up call for Notre Dame. I still think they're a good team, but I think it's because they haven't played a great defense yet. That Golson's going to get shooken up, a couple early turnovers, and I think that might be the difference in the game.
Stanford plays that traditional hard run and then that really solid defense where they'll win low-scoring games just because they want to. So that's the kind of game they want to play. And we'll see, does Nebraska hold a chance? Like, they have a great nationally ranked opponent. Can they even score in this game?
I think it could be a 35-10 game for Michigan State. They're at home. Defense is phenomenal. They can focus on Amir Abdullah. He's pretty much Nebraska's only good player. They can focus on stopping him, and Nebraska really doesn't have anyone else. I think it'll be a pretty blowout.
I say they cut off the run, and it's Michigan State all the way. If you rely on one player, just too much.
Yeah, too much to handle for Nebraska coming from Matt. And while that takes care of what we have just talked about for college football.